Welcome back to Mr. DuPage's classroom. This lesson is for my Algebra 1 class. It is 7.2, Solving Systems of Equations by Substitution. What we're going to do today is we're going to review the 4 steps of solving by substitution. We're going to go through a couple substitution problems, and then we'll have a couple of story problems. All right. So the first step to solving by substitution is to solve one of the equations for x or y. Step 2 is to substitute that expression into the other equation. Step 3, into the other equation and find the other variable. Step 3 is to substitute that variable in to solve for the second variable. And step 4 is to write our answers as an ordered pair. Hopefully you're feeling pretty confident about this by now. If not, hopefully after this lesson you will be. Okay? So I'm going to take 6x minus 7 and plug that in for that y because my y has already been solved there, right? So remember, whenever I go to substitute, I want to put parentheses. It'd be 6x minus 7 plus 2x equals negative 1. I'm going to distribute the 3. So it'd be 18x minus 21 plus 2x equals negative 1. I'm going to combine like terms, so 18x plus 2x is 20x, minus 21 is equal to negative 1. I'm going to add 20 to both sides. 20x would equal, I'm sorry, I'm going to add 21. That's my fault. I apologize. So I'm going to add 21 to both sides. So then 20x will equal 20. Then I divide by 20, so x would equal 1. Now that I have x equaling 1, what I'm going to do is plug that back into one of my two equations. I'm going to pick this bottom equation here because y is already by itself. So y would equal 6 times 1 minus 7. Y equals 6 minus 7, so y equals negative 1. So my ordered pair would be 1 comma negative 1. All right? Example 2, I do not have either equation solved for one of my variables, but I do have 2y equals x plus 4. Since I have the 2y by itself, if I just go ahead and divide by 2 all the way through, I'll end up with y equals 1/2 x plus 2. Now that I have that, I can take this part, plug it in for that y, so I'll end up with negative 2x plus 4, parenthesis 1/2 x plus 2 is equal to 16. I'm going to distribute my 4, so it'd be negative 2x. 1/2 of 4 would be 2x. 4 times 2 would be 8, equals 16. If I combine like terms, my negative 2x and positive 2x will just cancel. So then I ended up with 8 equals 16. Since that does not equal each other, then I have no solution. And I am done with that problem. Okay? On to story problems. The first thing I want you to do with this story problem before we even read it is I want to change the first blank here, right here, to number of adult tickets sold. And I want to change the second blank over here to number of student tickets sold. Okay? There's a reason for it. Don't worry about trying to figure out the other way to do this. Okay? So suppose your community center sells a total of 292 tickets for a basketball game. An adult ticket costs $3 and a student ticket costs $1. The sponsors collect $470 in ticket sales. Write and solve a system of equations to find the number of each type of ticket sold. So what we are looking for is how many adult tickets did we sell and how many student tickets did we sell. That's why we rearranged what each blank was for. So I need a variable for adult tickets. I'm going to use A. I need a variable for student tickets. I'm going to use S. Now this is where we got to think about the problem a little bit. Let's go back and reread it. Suppose your community center sells a total of 292 tickets for a basketball game. Well, how can I write an equation that uses both my variables and talks about 292 tickets for a basketball game sold? Well, that would be the number of adult tickets plus the number of student tickets equals 292 tickets total, right? Now, the next part says an adult ticket costs $3. How can I write that algebraically, that adult ticket costs $3? It would be 3 times A. And a student ticket costs $1 plus my student ticket, 1S, is equal to the amount of money they sold, which is 470. From here, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and solve for one of my two equations, or for one of my two variables, I'm sorry. That way I can plug it into the other equation and go from there. I'm going to use this top equation. I'm going to solve for A. So I'm going to subtract S from both sides, so A would equal 292 minus S. Okay? Now I'm going to take this 292 minus S, plug it in for this A down here. So I'll have 3 times 292 minus S plus S equals 470. Well, 3 times 292 is going to get us 876. Remember, I'm distributing real quick. 3 times negative S would be negative 3S plus S equals 470. Combine like terms, so 876, negative 3S plus S would be negative 2S equals 470. I'm going to subtract the 876 from both sides. So I'll have negative 2S is equal to, that would get me negative 406 when I take 470 minus 876. Now I'm going to go ahead and divide by negative 2. So S would equal 203 student tickets. Well, now I know that I had 203 student tickets. I know that I sold 292 tickets total. So if I put the 203 back in for this S, it would be A plus 293 equals 292. Subtract the 293, or 203, I'm sorry. I miswrote that too. This would be 203, right? So plus 203. Subtract 203 from 292. My adult ticket number would be 89. So I don't want to write this necessarily in an ordered pair. If I was going to graph it, maybe I would. But just for this problem, I will say I sold 203 student tickets and 89 adult tickets. And I will end right there. Okay? Back to the rectangle problems that we love so much. Remember that each side of the rectangle will be labeled with width or length. Okay? A rectangle is 4 times longer than its width. How can I write algebraically that my length is 4 times longer than the width? Well, what is 4 times the width? 4 times the width would be 4W, right? So each length is going to be equal to 4W. Remember what my formula for perimeter was? It was 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. If I'm using 2 times the length plus 2 times the width, and I know that L already equals 4W, then I can just take 2 times, I'm going to take 4W, plug it in for L, plus 2W would equal my perimeter, which in this case is 30 centimeters. Now if I distribute, I'll have 8W plus 2W equals 30. 8W plus 2W would be 10W, which equals 30. Divide that by 10. my W would equal 3 centimeters. Now that I know that W equals 3 centimeters, I'm going to take this 3, plug it in for this W, so L would equal 4 times 3, so my L would equal 12 centimeters. And that is the end of our lesson. So that was a little bit of a review on substitution, just using regular formulas, and how to set up a couple story problems. The most important thing about the story problems is figure out what it's asking you. Figure out how to make two equations out of what it's talking about, and then you can go about using substitution to solve for it. If you are still struggling with substitution, you really need to come in and get some help. Thank you very much for watching the video, and have a great day.